This is One on One. We're now joined by Bonnie Eggenburg, Vice President, Gateway Early Head Start and Head Start Program. Bonnie, great for joining us. We appreciate it. This is part of our Right from the Start NJ initiative. I met you recently at a forum we did together with the folks at Advocates for Children in New Jersey. We're talking about the child care environment. One of the things you talk a lot about is caregivers' pay. Who are we talking about and how bad is the pay?
The pay is not a living wage. It doesn't even come close to being a living wage. If you're talking about teachers of children from 0 to 3, you're talking about pay ranging anywhere from minimum wage to maybe $12 an hour on the average. So you're talking about people who are actually having to take access to resources and are living in poverty.
Okay, but play this out for a second. And by the way, check out our website throughout all of these segments as part of this ongoing series right from the start. And Jay, you look at our website, there's important information, educational information, information for parents, advocacy information, a whole range of important information. But in that spirit, go back to the kids. We're talking about birth to 3.
Yes.
If that's the problem with caregivers and their pay, or lack thereof, what impact does it have on those infants and toddlers?
Well, there tends to be a lot of turnover in that 0 to 3 range in terms of teachers, because teachers will come in, they'll get the training that they need to be excellent teachers, but they also recognize they can't support a family on that. So a year later, maybe less, they'll leave for something that pays better. And at that age,
the child loses that teacher?
Loses that
then
teacher.
What?
And that interrupts that bonding that happens that's so important at that early age. Children need to feel secure and they need to feel safe. And when they have that, then they're able to actually grow, develop, and learn. Without that, with that lack of continuity, that becomes a problem.
You know, as you're talking about this, you know, Bonnie, I realize that so much of this for parents watching, all right, from the Start NJ series are asking, so what do I do? Part of what you and your organization are all about is to give advice to parents. Talk about that.
Well, I would say in terms of trying to support quality in infant toddler caregiving, I think that it's important for parents to be active in letting...
Define what that means. How hard do you push?
Well, in Head Start, in Early Head Start, we have a parent group. And we keep that parent group informed on what's happening in the state and at the federal level. And we give them the tools. We don't give them the direction, but we give them the tools they need to be able to make decisions on how they want to pursue what they need for their children.
So much of this is about socioeconomic issues, as we've learned and researched in this series. There are a high percentage of parents, single parents, a child who has both parents, whatever the situation is, where the economics of this make it very challenging to provide that child with the early care he or she needs, correct?
Absolutely. If I'm a low income or even a lower middle income family, the chances are I'm not going to be able to afford high quality early childhood care. Because if I am relying on a state subsidy, that subsidy rate is about half of what New York pays. Half? Yes.
New Jersey pays half of what New York pays for. Describe that subsidy. What are we talking about?
In New Jersey, if I'm an infant toddler child care provider, I can get reimbursed around $695 a month for child care. In New York, it's about double. In Pennsylvania, it's about $300 more a month. But we know New Jersey is a very expensive place to live. And we know that if you're going to have high-quality infant toddler care, you need to bring in high-quality people.
So what impact does it have on the actual decisions that are made by parents as to what to do with their infants and toddlers?
A lot of them end up going to their grandmother and asking, and sometimes that grandma is a very active, involved person.
Or grandpa.
Or grandpa.
But what?
But sometimes they have to rely on TV because they need a break. They have to rely on...
digital devices, et cetera.
Yes.
And the downside of that in terms of an infant or toddler's development is?
is that they're not getting the interaction with adults. There's lots of research out there to show that learning programs on an iPad are not nearly effective as when an adult is directly involved with a child. Reading a book face-to-face with your child is going to be much more meaningful in terms of developing vocabulary than playing a game on an iPad.
And real quick, for those who don't know what Head Start's all about, describe it real quick.
Head Start and Early Head Start is a federally funded program, 0 to 3, and we even work with pregnant moms. It is free, it is comprehensive.
So it's prenatal as well?
Yes, it is.
Because?
Because we know...
How's that part of the Right from the Start initiative? I'm sorry for interrupting. Why is prenatal part of Right from the Start NJ?
We know a lot of moms don't go and get prenatal care, and so it's so important that somebody is there walking side by side with them during those early months of the baby's development in utero. And sometimes that means helping them to realize that they need to go to the doctor, to go to the dentist, to get all of that prenatal care, but also to provide education so that when that baby is born and is not sleeping through the night, that they have some tools to cope with all of what they're going through.
Final question, because I asked you about Head Start. I cut you off a little bit.
That's okay.
It is a federally funded program, which means tax dollars supported. For those watching right now say, you know what? Everyone should, quote, take care of their own infant and toddler. You say?
I say that not everybody is either ready to take care of their infant and toddler, and a lot of people have to work. And so we're able to provide that support. Sometimes we need respite care, sometimes we need care while mom and dad are working. Sometimes we are a family who doesn't speak English and wants to give that child a head start, even from those very early years.
And by the way, before let's go, and when we don't, Bonnie, when that child does not get a quote-unquote head start, what is ahead for that child as opposed to when he or she gets it?
They're going to start school a step back from everybody else, and they may never, ever catch up. We know in Head Start that there's a higher success rate in terms of graduating from high school, less likely to become pregnant as a teenager, less likely to be incarcerated, and more likely to earn as much as $5,000 a year more as an adult.
Because of an early Head Start.
Because of early Head Start and Head Start programs.
Which makes it clear that it's everyone's responsibility, not just one who is fortunate enough to have the resources to get the care for their infants and toddlers. Bonnie, thank you not just for being with us as part of this Right from the Start NJ series, but more importantly, for everything that you do every day for countless children across the state, and Head Start has been doing, I believe, since the 1960s, if I'm not mistaken. It was the Johnson administration was a part of the Great Society?
That's correct.
Just want to check my history.
Yes.
Bonnie, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back, right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by the Turl Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ. The Nicholson Foundation, supporting Right from the Start NJ. Hackensack Meridian Health, Seton Hall University, New Jersey Sharing Network, Kessler Foundation, and by Suez. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.